Welcome to Just Minding My Business Radio, where we are moving at the speed of God, learning what we didn't know we didn't know. I'm your host, Ida Crawford.
And I'm your co-host, Ruth Haskins.
So grab a pen and paper and get ready for information that you can use.
Well, welcome to Just Minding My Business Media. We are really pleased to have everyone with us from around the country and around the world. We hope you've had a really wonderful day. And today we have with us, coming to the mic, Lou Stevens, who is a retired RN, founder and CEO of Stevens Enterprises. She's been in business for 22 years and counting. Her company consists of 6 subdivisions, with each division focusing on health-related services, products, or a combination of both. Ms. Stevens has successfully provided services as an insurance agent, life and health, medical biller, and insurance claims processor. She is currently certified as a preventive care practitioner and registered with Competitive Health as a PEMF, Pulsed Electromagnetic Field Specialist, and a few other things. She has a holistic preventive and post-rehab therapy for over 200 illnesses. There's so much more to this wonderful woman, amazing credentials. But tonight, Ms. Stevens is going to share information with us about the state of our drinking water and how to clean it up by using an all-natural mineral complex that's been available for eons without most of the world knowing about it. So welcome very much, Ms. Stevens, and the floor is all yours. I know Ida's also here, who is the host and producer of the show. So between the two of us, you're going to get a lot of questions.
Absolutely.
I love that. That is my specialty.
Okay.
And thank you so much for having me on the show tonight.
You are very welcome.
Thank you
We're
for
glad to have
saying
you.
yes. We appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, how did you get started with all this good stuff?
Well, I had an option of either going back to school to become a nurse practitioner or to get into the holistic arena. And because I understand the healthcare industry and I understand from behind the scenes what's going on, I chose the alternative side. I chose to get trained in areas that most people know little to nothing about, and to provide services and products that are in other parts of the world or either being used in other parts of the U.S., and to bring them here to our area.
Mm-hmm. So is that where the water interest comes from, or what came first? Was it the water, or was it something else that came first?
It was the pulse electromagnetic field therapy that came first.
Okay. Could you explain to us? I'm curious. What is that? Okay.
Pulsed electromagnetic field therapy has been in the U.S. for over 60 years.
Uh-oh.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It initially originates in European countries, Scandinavian countries, like Switzerland and Germany. They have been using the technology long before the U.S. accepted it.
Okay.
The focus was primarily when NASA started into the space race, and Russia too.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things they did not want the American people to know, and I'm going to stick with America and not Russia, but one of the things they did not want the American people to know is the damage that was being done to the astronauts when they would come back into the Earth's gravitational pull.
Mm-hmm.
Not go into outer space and expect to come back to Earth that has a gravitation and nothing's going to happen. Your cells go haywire. We were not designed to be in outer space. We're Earthers.
Yes.
So our body is designed to relate to these invisible force fields that are down here to protect us from anything that's in outer space that's not supposed to be on Earth, and to ensure that our cells are not dying or operating improperly. And that's what was happening with the astronauts. A lot of them died. They're just not going to tell people
Yes.
about it. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
them died. So they found out, and it's not that they didn't know, that the Germans as well as the Swiss were using pulse electromagnetic field therapy. The gentleman named Nikolai Tesla was
Mm-hmm.
the first one to create it.
Wow.
And that gentleman had so many inventions. And when he died, unfortunately, whomever, they stole all of his ideas. But the U.S. NASA chose to go across the waters and to get PIMF equipment, bring it back here for their astronauts and to use it. Now, what they discovered was PIMF makes our cells regenerate. It's real simple. The human body is made up of 75 trillion cells. Every cell is an individual entity within itself. It's a manufacturing plant. It needs certain things to do, but what drives every cell in our body is energy, an electromagnetic field. The earth produces this, and they were able to duplicate and tap into that in those countries. So the U.S. said, okay, we're going to use yours. They used it. It worked. So what NASA did later on, instead of paying rent to these companies for their equipment, they went on and had their own device. So they made their own PIMF device for the astronauts. Now, PIMF, because it causes cellular regeneration, there's about 7 or 8 health issues that Medicare will actually pay for. That's approved by FDA. And the first one was what they call non-union bone fractures. That's where a person has had a major accident or they fractured the bone in about maybe 12 or 13 pieces, and you got splinters and everything else going on. They've gone in, they've tried the rods and the screws. It's not working. That was too slow. A lot of people did not recover their limbs from that. By using PIMF, it speeded up the cellular process. So the bones were healing and fusing back together quicker, which meant that they didn't have to use as many metal pieces to put into a person. And that was a big plus. So over the years, they actually extended it out to other health conditions. And in 2011, they approved it for brain cancers and tumors. That's just how powerful this non-aggressive, drug-free, non-surgical therapy is. And to date, there are about 20 different types of PIMF devices in the U.S. I chose to get my training with a Swiss company and to be their distributor. But the other thing that they had to do for me is to help me get my certification as a PIMF health technician so I can move on to get certified as a PIMF specialist. And I love it. I use it for myself and my family. It works.
All right. So if someone wanted to get this, can they go to their doctor and request it, or does Medicare allow for it? How do you go about accessing this? Because this is
what they have done, and I'm going to share this on your show so people can understand how the healthcare industry operates. The ruling entity within the healthcare industry is the pharmaceutical industry. All healthcare professionals, all healthcare entities are dependent upon the monies that is made from the pharmaceutical companies to stay in existence. That's a fact. They're not going to go anywhere. Medicare is only going to pay for specific health issues, illnesses or diseases that the physician within that specialty deems necessary. Okay? Orthopedic specialists have been using these devices since 1979.
Mm-hmm.
But they get to pick and choose to whom they're going to use this therapy on. Okay? The other instances in which it can be used for incontinence, severe incontinence.
Mm-hmm.
It can be used for stage 3 and stage 4 wound care, but that wound has to get to a stage 3 or stage 4 level before the doctor can say, okay, this patient needs to use this type of electrostimulation through this device.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of criteria involved. It's not an easy thing for someone to get this type of therapy from their healthcare practitioner. And let me just say this. In all the medical books, this particular therapy is listed. I have a few physician friends involved in traditional medicine. And when I started introducing them to this several years ago, they looked it up in their own medical books and they found that it was there, but they had no clue.
Mm-hmm.
Because they've been trained to address specific illnesses in specific ways.
Right.
Okay, that's all that is. Now, Dr. Oz in 2011 brought this information on national TV and had two leading healthcare professionals here in the United States. One doctor, his practice is in Linthicum, Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
He's been educating his colleagues about this for about maybe 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the other doctor deals with pain management. And he's in one of the leading universities. And he was on there explaining to Dr. Oz exactly how it works, had a particular unit on there and showed the TV audience. And Dr. Oz said this is a revolutionary way for doctors to treat pain without medication and without surgery. And this was long before we had this opioid epidemic surfacing.
Mm-hmm. What you don't know will hurt you.
That is the truth. But the interesting thing, and let me tell you how one leads into the other.
Please.
We are 80% water.
Mm-hmm.
The human body is made up of 80% water,
yes.
Period. Most people don't know it, but we are. With the pulse electromagnetic field and water, they go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Because water is a natural conduit
mm-hmm.
for the electromagnetic field that is emanating from the earth. The earth is 70% water, which is primarily the oceans.
Right.
And if anybody pays attention, if you go to the ocean and you're just sitting out there relaxing, you feel good.
Uh-huh. Yes.
That's because that water, the electromagnetic field from the earth is coming up out of that water and you're getting the benefit from it.
Wow. Okay.
That electromagnetic field, and it's not, and ladies, let me just say, I'm a geek. When I was young, I kind of acted stupid because when you're young, your peers don't want you to be smart around them because it makes them uncomfortable.
Right.
Okay. I'm 66 years old. If folks don't like what I'm saying, tough titty. I am a geek. I'm proud of being a geek. And I have prayed to be able to explain these scientific principles to people who don't have a science background in layman's terms so that you get it and you get it quick, you get it easy, and you won't forget.
Well, please bring your geekiness right on.
Yeah, we would
honor it. This is a fabulous topic because this is something most people don't know about. And one thing that we do not know anything about is the only true possession that we have, and that's our bodies. Our cars, our houses, everything else is extraneous. But we know nothing about our bodies and how our bodies really work, except the little bit that we got from, biology class or health class. And in many cases, because you brought up a very important topic, there is a control system to the medical system in this country. There's a lot of information that doesn't get to the populace, so to speak. So this is valuable information. So please continue.
Okay.
One of the
go ahead.
Well, one of the questions, I don't know where you are in your conversation, but what's the true state of our water quality? Since we're so much of us is water, so much of the earth is water, that makes sense. We know that water is important. And, there's just so many questions. You go ahead. You know that I want to find out the state of our water quality.
Okay.
But I know there's
the quality, well, let me just say this real quick. The quality of all the water in the United States is the same as Flint, Michigan. Okay? Do not be confused. The quality of water in the United States, we're talking about the entire United States, on the municipal level, we're talking cities, okay, is the equivalent of Flint, Michigan. Okay? They are not trying to scare us. They don't want us to panic. They don't want a revolution going on about this water, okay? And the reason why it's that way is because of the chemicals that they use to clean water. The piping systems throughout the United States is so antiquated and archaic. Everything needs to be, the infrastructure really needs to be redone. But nobody's saying they have the money to do it. So we, the people, we wind up suffering because the politicians can't find the money to come up with a better way of cleaning our water and to make the pipes in which the water is coming through clean and safe, because they're not. And then it's all the stuff that winds up going into water that they have to clean and make sure that the bacteria and the microbes are destroyed. But it's a lot of other things that is also being put in our water that we, the people, put in. We throw stuff into the rivers, and it goes into the sewer, and we're flushing medication down the toilet. I mean, all of that is impacting everybody's water. Now, the primary cleaning agent for everybody's water in the United States is chlorine.
Yes.
Okay. What do you ladies think about chlorine? What's your thoughts on that? Do y'all know anything about chlorine?
I know that it's good for bleaching clothes, but I know it's not good for bleaching the inside of me. I know.
Okay.
Right.
It's poisonous.
Okay. Well,
the fumes are poisonous.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And on the Clorox bottle, it will tell you that. It's in such tiny print that people normally don't think to read it. But Clorox can cause respiratory problems. A lot of people have respiratory problems that 9 times out of 10 is probably the direct result of them being around and overusing Clorox. I'm not going to say just overusing Clorox and other chemicals that have chlorine in it. But chlorine is a carcinogen. All of the health departments in the United States know that. It is a carcinogen. So you're taking a carcinogen, putting it in the water. People have been drinking it for God knows how long through their tap water system.
Yes.
Okay. Now, 15 years ago, maybe 20, nobody was drinking bottled water. But because they started telling us about how bad the tap water was, because of the chlorine and all the contaminants, everybody said, oh, we're going to buy bottled water. Well, I'm going to burst everybody's bubble tonight.
Uh-oh. Go ahead.
I asked everybody a question. Where do you think bottled water companies get their water for their warehouse processing plant?
Probably from the same place we get it from the speaker.
That's it, because they have to pay a water bill. That water ain't free to them.
Okay,
So the only
it's not. There's no natural spring, huh?
There is no government agency making it mandatory for any bottled water company to tell you on their label where they get their water from. And there is no mandate that says what they can and cannot put on their label. There is nothing overseeing them. There is no entity, no agency. Now, the EPA tells them how much chemicals, parts per million, can go into the water that they're cleaning up with the chemicals that they're using. They do that. But other than that, there's nothing else in place to monitor these people.
Wow.
Okay.
So bottled water companies can say anything they want. And they take the same water that comes out of the tap, they run it through what's called a reverse osmosis system to try to pull more of the cleaning agents out and any microbes or germs or bacteria that may have slipped through the system into the tap water, okay? But then they're going to turn around and put that water, which is really basically tap water, in plastic bottles that are made from gasoline.
Oh, Lord.
Okay?
We're just sitting there.
And I do presentations, and I always ask people questions because I want people to stop and think about the process. And that's what people have to look at. How is this being processed? And how long has it been wherever before I pay for it and put it in my body?
Okay.
Okay, so let's start. We got a warehouse. Everybody can visualize that. We have a manufacturing process where there's plastic bottles. The water is going in the bottles. They have the machines putting the tops on those bottles. And that's the one thing the government says, those bottles have to be sealed. Okay. So until you have a outside company placing an order for, let's say, 1,000 bottles, those bottles of water are going to sit in that warehouse or warehouses until the order is placed for that product to be delivered to a company. The company will have it transported to their warehouse. So again, the bottle's going to sit, and then at some point, they're going to put X number of units in the stores. So I'm going to pick on Safeway. Safeway has a warehouse. Safeway bought 10,000 bottles, had their own name or whatever brand they want put on it. You don't know it's Safeway's brand. You just know the name on the bottle. That bottle of water is sitting in a warehouse somewhere. X number of units can only go in each store. When the quantity gets low because people have been purchasing it, then they will bring more in. When the quantity gets low in the warehouse, they're going to go back to the manufacturer, purchase some more bottles, and bring them and sit. Now, these bottles are made of petroleum. Petroleum is gasoline. Warehouses, their temperature fluctuates. They can be cold or they can be hot. The plastic is going to react to the temperature in the warehouse, which means that you're going to have gasoline leaching into the water. It's odorless and it has no taste, so it's tasteless. Now, a lot of people have health problems that are the accumulative effect of drinking chlorinated water with gasoline in it. And gasoline is a carcinogen. So, yeah, you got high blood pressure. Yeah, I can see you having high blood pressure. Yeah. You got diabetes. I can see that. I can see all of this. Because this is in direct correlation to what you have been putting in your body, and your body has not been able to excrete those chemicals because it wasn't designed for those chemicals being in it in the first place.
Right. That's the issue.
Oh.
I will say something.
Okay.
I just have to jump in here for just a second, just to verify in case anyone's thinking, oh, that's not me. I live in a building that is, fairly, it's clean, it's, well maintained. But every once in a while, when I turn on my tap water, in fact, I do it religiously. I wait, I let it run, and I smell it. There are some days when the chlorine is so strong that I have to just let it run and run and run until I can't smell it anymore. But by that time, I've liberated, now that I'm thinking about it, I've liberated all that chlorine right into my environment. It's almost...
It's a vicious system.
Mm-hmm. That's what it
It's
sounds
vicious.
like to me.
It's a vicious system.
It is
But
vicious. It is.
the one thing that I'm
demonic.
trying to do through my practice is to disseminate information that can help counteract major health issues.
Okay.
Okay, that's the whole thing. Knowledge is power.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But you've got to get the correct knowledge from the correct source.
Mm-hmm.
And it cannot be bogus.
Okay.
Can't be bogus. We have, I don't know if you ladies are paying attention, but Newark, New Jersey is having a problem with lead in their water.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen that, yes.
Yeah, okay. That is not new. Just about every school system throughout the U.S. also has the same problem with lead in the water. And everybody knows if lead in the paint can cause children to have neurological problems, behavioral health issues, lead in the water is even easier. We're talking about, 10, 15 years ago, they were talking about children eating lead-based paint.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, lead is lead. It doesn't change its properties. Water is just another vehicle in which to get it into the body, but it will do the same thing. But guess what? It can also be neutralized. You can get lead out of the body. It's considered a heavy metal toxin.
Okay.
And that can also be for everything down here. The Creator has put plants and basically plants and minerals at our disposal, but we have got to get back to knowing what these plants are and which minerals are capable of doing what.
Absolutely.
When it comes to helping to clean up our body.
Mm-hmm.
The other incident that happened back in May and June, we had an arsenic problem with bottled water. And several of the stores in our area were affected. They went in and pulled that bottle off the shelves. And that was to get rid of the evidence, because if anyone had gotten sick and if they decided to try to trace it back to the water, well, the water would not be on the shelves anymore. Mm-hmm. So you wouldn't have a legal case. So they knew what they were doing. Oh, yeah. They trust me, they're not trying to get sued. But the thing of it is, Consumer Reports put the information out there. And I'm part of different organizations, and they send me emails and updates immediately when something happens so that I can pull that information and get it out to my clients, because I make sure my folks know everything that's going on. Family and friends, and tell them send it out. Make everybody aware, because that's the only way we're going to be able to do it. Mm-hmm. We cannot trust the news media to put the information out. I think there was a blurb about it, about the arsenic in the water, and that was it. And no one else said anything about it. And there might have been Channel 7 News. Other than that, none of the other news stations ran it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's the way it works. If there's anything that's detrimental to the powers that be, so to the big companies, whatever,
right.
You're only going to get a flash on the screen and then it's gone, unless you catch it and then you do your own research.
Right. Right.
Okay. So with this, lead in the water, also arsenic in the water, and you're saying that it's heavy metal. So how do we correct that on an individual, local basis?
Everything is going to be individual. And the reason I'm saying that is because the municipal powers that be,
Mm-hmm.
they are not going to invest the money to bring in products from other countries that are not here in the United States.
Uh-huh.
There are a lot of things outside of the United States, plants and other things, that is not available to us as Americans.
Mm-hmm.
There's a mineral complex that I introduce people to that actually neutralizes chlorine in anybody's water. Your tap water, bottled water, doesn't matter.
Okay.
And the company that I represent is called Zuma International. I'm sorry, Zuma Worldwide. They are an international company. Their products are in 60 countries. They've been in the U.S. for 10 years. And what got me involved with them was through the pimp. One of the ladies that was a client of mine, because she is so health conscious,
Mm-hmm.
someone introduced her to the Zuma product. She contacted me and told me I needed to check it out. She knew I was going to do my due diligence. I ran that company through the mud. I checked everything that they had. I said, okay, I've got to see the demonstration. You got to show me. And they showed me. I was impressed. And I said, okay, I've got to learn how to do this myself. So I got the training as a hydration specialist, but I was already doing that long before, telling people to use these various filters that you can get at different stores to try to clean their water up and pull as much of the junk out their water as possible. But I knew the filtration systems were not, that they were missing an element.
Mm-hmm.
The element they were missing was 100 minerals. And these minerals are being harvested from the Okinawan Ocean in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Okinawa, Japan is a blue zone. Blue zones are areas on planet Earth where the seniors are living to be up in their hundreds. They are not on medications.
Mm-hmm.
They're living closer to nature. They don't have all this Wi-Fi and other electronic devices around them. And they're living a much healthier, more natural lifestyle. So I guess you say they've gone back maybe 100 to 200 years, but they're still here.
Mm-hmm.
And they're healthy. So
Right.
when they die of old age. The body just stops. It's not producing any more energy. The cells are not holding a charge anymore, like a battery.
Right.
But that's not the case with us here in the United States. Majority of us have illnesses.
Mm-hmm.
We are prematurely dying. And we're dying horrible deaths.
Yes.
And I know I'm in the Capitol Heights metro area in Prince George's County. We have dialysis centers popping up all over the place.
Yes,
Because
I've
people
noticed that as well.
Yeah.
Here, I'm in
Yeah.
Pennsylvania, and they building a new hospital here, building a new hospital there, and I'm thinking they supposed to be saving people. They look like they trying to pack them in.
There are a lot of things going on behind the scenes when it comes to these hospitals, but that's for another night that I can share that information with you guys. But in regards to the this water situation, the mineral complex, it only takes 1 gram of 100 minerals to be able to neutralize the chlorine in a gallon of water.
Mm-hmm.
That is phenomenal. Phenomenal. Not only that, that 1 gram, which is 100 minerals, can also take acidic water
Mm-hmm.
and make it alkaline. It'll transform it into alkaline water.
Okay.
Okay?
That's very.
Now, that's a chemical reaction.
Mm-hmm.
A chemical reaction. And I often tell people this is one of the best kept secrets, even though it's not a secret. But the company that has the proprietary rights to this mineral complex, they are not trying to put it in the stores.
Right.
Because for them to take and put it in the stores, they're going to pass the cost off to the consumer. And the cost includes national advertising, packaging, the whole shebang.
Mm-hmm.
And it won't be cost effective. So what they do is they work with independent distributors and individuals like myself, healthcare practitioners, on the holistic side who are actually trying to help improve the lives of others by getting this information out there and letting people know that, yes, you can get a product that's going to help you. I've even talked to the owner of the company, Zuma, the president and owner, and asked him, please, please hurry up and put together a shower head that people can use that's going to neutralize that chlorine. Because now what's happening, I drink everything I do, I use my water. And the product is called X2O, Extreme X2O.
Okay.
I make my water for the week. I make 4 gallons of water. I take my old sachets and set them to the side because they're coming out of the ocean. So that's why I say these minerals have been around for eons. We don't know how old the ocean is. We don't have no clue as to how old this planet is.
That's right.
And those minerals are being harvested, I think it's like 200 feet down below the ocean floor. And those minerals have been there for eons, but the Japanese people knew how to use it.
Right.
And they use a lot of plants. Trust me, a lot of sea plants have medicinal properties and the ability to clean and pull toxins out of the body as well. Sea plants.
Yes.
And see, we don't live on the ocean. So we're not on an island either. And islanders would know about the plants that are growing in the ocean because they're living off of the ocean.
Right.
We don't do that. The only thing we think about ocean, crabs, fish, shrimp, clams, oysters.
Right.
Okay, come on now. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. I'm not lying.
Right. We don't look at it as something that is a part of ourselves. It's just like the earth. We don't consider the earth as being a part of ourselves. It's something separate, something that we use and abuse, but it's not something that we see as necessary for life. Not really. We don't value it that way.
Right.
No, we don't.
People who are around.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
You know.
You're absolutely right.
Just tear it up.
But this has got to stop because in order for our cells, and everything goes back to the cell. There's a gentleman, he's deceased now. His name was Dr. Linus Pauling.
Yes.
He was a biochemist. He said you can trace every disease and illness to a mineral deficiency.
Exactly.
Yes, we need minerals, but we need 100 grams of minerals being infused in our water, and we're drinking that water so that our organs can start cleaning themselves of whatever toxins have been built up in them. And doctors are not going to tell you that because the whole premise of the healthcare industry is to give you a prescription. I'm going to give you a prescription. You tell me something's wrong. Okay, well, I'm going to give you a drug. The drug is just going to exacerbate the problem because only 60% of every drug that is written, it's not going to work. They know this.
Yeah.
So you have to do something different. They keep telling us that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing the same way and looking for different results. Well, it's the same thing with our healthcare system. You've been taking medication for 10 years. You still have the same health problem, maybe 5 or 6 new problems that came along over the years.
Right.
Yep. That's the
And
truth.
you want, but you're saying, I want to get off my meds. Okay. What is needed is out there for you. You need to open up your mind and start listening to alternatives.
Our country is the sickest country in all the countries, nations on the face of the earth. We're the wealthiest country. We have the most hospitals and doctors, et cetera, et cetera. we're sicker. Most Americans are sicker than the most people in any country that's supposedly less developed.
You're right. And they know this. They have the statistics out there to prove it. Land is supposed to set for 7 years so that it can heal itself.
Mm-hmm.
They are not doing that in the United States.
No.
They do not let land sit for no 7 years.
No,
or they would go bankrupt.
Dollars. Those are dollars gone if they let it sit.
Yeah, so they are they over process the poor soil. They put stuff into the soil to try to make it healthier, and they're winding up killing us because whatever chemicals they're putting in the soil, it goes into the plants that we eat, and the plants that we eat, all that chemical is inside of us. So that's why a lot of people have started doing their own gardening again.
Yes.
Because they want healthy food.
Mm-hmm.
We're earthers. We're from the earth. We're supposed to be eating everything that comes out of the earth, basically.
Right.
But we're not doing that because we're in an industrialized country.
Right. And they've industrialized.
So we have to take control. Right, but we have to take control. It is not the responsibility of a doctor to make you healthy. It
exactly.
is this is my personal feelings, and this is to the radio audience. This is my personal feeling, and I'm saying this as a healthcare professional because I have had major health issues, and the only way that I was able to put those issues in reverse was to really go back and learn about how my body operates, what I should and should not eat, what it will absorb, what it won't absorb, and most importantly, that water is the key, and I needed to clean up my water, detox my body, get all that junk out of my system that had been sitting up in there for years. From medication that I took years ago, I had to clean it up. And when you do that, trust me, you start seeing things totally different when your brain cells are clean. And they're not overwhelmed with a lot of toxins.
Wow. Well, how can our audience connect with you?
Okay. My office phone number is 301-404-3532. My email address is the word healthy, living, water @gmail.com.
We're definitely going to have a continuation of this because there's so much information that people need to know about, and you have a wealth of it. I'm sitting here writing everything, making notes and taking, because it's true.
Just overwhelmed with information, but valuable information. And there's so much more, I'm looking at your bio, and there's so much more that we can talk about. I want you to come back and talk about chemical sensitivity disorder, the sitting disorder, more information on the plants and whatnot that we can use. Because bottom line, and you said it yourself, everything that we need, the Creator already put here for us.
Yes.
But we are fighting against a system that makes money off our illness. And it's money so that they can have whatever it is that they think is so important. But nothing is more important than life.
And the doctors know this.
Oh,
they know it. Medicine, what they use as the basics for medicine is plant-based. But when you start putting all these chemicals that are non-plant-based chemicals, mixing them into extended so that you can make money off of it, it's not effective. So it's not going to do what it was supposed to do. Right. Because they're using, I'm not saying that they're not using plants, they are. But the plants that they're using, and then you're putting all this inert matter, all this other non-plant-based stuff in it, it doesn't do anything but dilute the effectiveness of the chemical that the plant has in it. Right. You watered it down, so it's not going to do anything. Yeah. That's all. That's all.
Oh,
And they know it, and they can't get mad about it because they report everything that they do.
Right.
They put it in a book. And whoever the idiot was that says folks of color don't read books, they're idiots. Because we had books before they even knew what books were.
That's true. Yes, there's much that people don't know. Ms. Stevens, we could be on here for another 4 or 5 hours. You have a wealth of information, and
Yes, you
we
do.
really appreciate you sharing it with us and with our listening audience. You must come back.
Oh, yeah. We're going to have to do a series with you
Yes.
because it's so much information. It's not going to happen in one set.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, ladies, believe me, I have over 200 articles just on water alone.
Oh, wow.
Just on water alone. Because I have to educate my thing is when my clients come to me, you're coming to me to help correct a problem that you weren't able to get satisfaction from your traditional doctor. So now I'm going to work with you to help you clean your body up so your body can start doing what it's supposed to, and that's heal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see you every 3 months. I don't want to see you but maybe twice a year. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to see you. I don't need to see you like that. Once I get you on the road to recovery, then I'm going to equip you to do what you're supposed to do. Now you're responsible. I've showed you what to do. Do it. Just keep doing it.
Okay, now.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
That's clear.
Yeah. Instead of running, what you running back to me for? I done already showed you what to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's real. I don't do anything difficult, ladies. Everything is simple. I believe in keeping it seriously simple.
Okay.
Which means I have to educate you. Once you get the knowledge, you can build on. I give you a foundation to build on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, before we go out, again, share your information so that people can get in contact.
Okay. My company is the Center for Optimum Health and Wellness. I'm located in Largo, Maryland. My address is 1300 Mercantile Lane, Suite 100, the letter L. That's Largo, Maryland, 20774. My office number is 301-404-3532. The email is healthylivingwater@gmail.com. I have over 6 different health websites. So if you send me an email, I will send you the shortest one to get you started on your journey to learn about water. What is healthy water, living water, clean water to help you detox.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. I really appreciate it. You guys have a blessed evening.
You do the same.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much.
Word on the street says there's something new at Just Minding My Business Media. You've heard our podcast, Just Minding My Business Radio, that brings news and views you can use. That airs every Thursday at 6 p.m. on iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, and Spreaker. Well, now you can watch Just Minding My Business. That's right, Just Minding My Business Media now has a TV presence on Raven International TV Network, broadcast on Roku, Fire, and Apple TV. Your business, through Just Minding My Business Media, has exposure on internet radio, major social media platforms, and now TV, through Just Minding My Business dynamic digital marketing platform. Don't listen to the word on the street. Hear it for yourself. Visit jmmb.asistercircle.org to learn how you can take your business, your vision, to the next level.
Thank you to the amazing women of A Sister Circle Empowerment Network, ASCEN LLC, and our media partners. Let Just Minding My Business Media promote your business.
For information, visit us at jmmb.assistercircle.org. That's jmmb.assistaccircle.org. Voiceovers by RCH VoiceWorks, for when you want to be heard. Call 443-620-4115.
Thank you for tuning in to Just Minding My Business Radio. I'm your host, Ida Crawford.
And I'm your co-host, Ruth Haskins.
We hope you enjoyed the show and appreciate you stopping by. Many blessings to you and yours.